Taxi Hell, narrated by Kirk. It was a stormy night when Sarah decided to hail a taxi. She had just finished a late night shift at work and was eager to get home and curl up in bed. She stepped out into the rain and waved her arm, hoping to catch a ride. A yellow taxi pulled up beside her, and the driver rolled down the window. He looked friendly enough, with a big smile and a thick New York accent. "Where to, miss?" he asked, his voice booming over the sound of the rain. Sarah gave him her address and settled into the back seat, grateful for the warmth and dryness of the taxi. As they drove through the dark, deserted streets, Sarah felt a sense of unease. There was something strange about the driver, something she couldn't quite put her finger on. He kept glancing at her in the rearview mirror, his eyes almost glowing in the dim light. She tried to brush it off, telling herself she was just being paranoid. But then, the driver took a wrong turn, down a winding road that led to a dark, secluded area of the city. Sarah's heart raced as she realized they were nowhere near her apartment. Suddenly, the driver slammed on the brakes and turned to face Sarah with a sinister grin on his face. He was no longer the friendly driver she had met earlier. He was something else entirely, something evil and twisted. Before Sarah could react, the driver grabbed her by the arm and pulled her out of the taxi. She screamed for help, but no one was around to hear her. The rain beat down on her, mixing with her tears as she struggled to break free. The driver dragged Sarah into an old abandoned warehouse where he locked her in a small dark room. The walls were covered in dirt and grime, and the air was thick with the stench of decay. Sarah tried to scream, but her voice was hoarse from crying. She felt trapped, alone, and helpless. She knew that no one was coming to save her. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah's nightmare only grew worse. The driver would come in periodically, bringing her scraps of food and water, but he always left her in the darkness. She could hear strange noises coming from the other rooms, screams and moans that made her blood run cold. She knew that she wasn't the only one he had abducted. One day, when the driver came to bring her food, Sarah managed to grab a knife he had left on the tray. With all her strength, she lunged at him, slashing him across the face. The driver stumbled back, and Sarah used the opportunity to run for her life. She sprinted through the warehouse, dodging obstacles and avoiding the other rooms. Finally, she burst through the door and into the street. She ran as fast as she could, her heart pounding in her chest, until she reached a busy intersection. She collapsed onto the sidewalk, her body shaking with fear and exhaustion. She was safe, but the memory of the horror she had endured would stay with her forever.